Hey everyone, today we're playing some tagging of the TNT and we're going to be talking about the meaning of life again, but to another extent. So I'm going to be talking about the movie Fight Club again. I think this might be the second, is this the third time I'm talking about it? Out of 3 videos I've made, I think this is the second time I'm talking about Fight Club, or maybe even the third time. I might just always be talking about Fight Club. I don't know why. I sound like a fanboy. There's this scene in Fight Club where Tyler Durden, he grabs this cashier from a deli convenience store and he asks him what does he want to do in life, right? And there's like, it's very dramatized. I don't want to spoil the entire scene, but basically in the movie, he tells the narrator, you have to know, not fear, but know that you're gonna die one day. And, you know, there's a whole other stuff. She says a whole bunch of stuff after that, but of course, I don't want to spoil the whole movie. But that quote has really stuck with me because I think everyone knows, quote unquote, knows that we're going to die one day, right? But most of all, we all fear that we're going to die. And to know the difference between knowing and fearing that you're going to die, I think you can tell your mentality based on the actions you do every day. So obviously, like, we all know that we're going to die one day, but are your everyday decisions aligning with that fact? Are you making every choice that aligns with the idea that one day you're going to die? You know, it's basically just telling you to live your life to the fullest because one day you won't have a life anymore. It's a question of whether or not you're making decisions that consciously acknowledge that one day we're going to die, right? So do we really know that we're going to die, or are we just hiding behind the comfort and familiarity of fear and autopiloting most of your days? Because that's how I feel, honestly. Most of the time, I feel like I'm autopiloting, and, you know, the decisions I make every day, the things I do every day don't align with the acknowledgement that one day we're going to die, right? Because I'm living autopilot. I'm living my life in comfort. I'd rather fear death than acknowledge death because I'm so comfortable with the idea of not doing anything, of being comfortable and just not trying to take any risks, right? And I think most of that comes from the feel of failure, which doesn't really make sense because there's this other quote from a movie. I just found it on Reddit somewhere. I haven't seen the movie, but he says, don't take life so seriously, you'll never make it out alive. And there's like another quote I know. It says, you have to learn to not take yourself seriously and take your dreams seriously, which I think is such a real thing because, you know, I go on here and I like record videos and, you know, whenever I watch back my videos, I'm like, dude, I seem like such an unserious guy. But like me, like everyone else, we're all so complex. And when I don't upload videos and when I'm having really bad days, it's kind of like, it's weird because I'm such an unserious person. So it kind of makes it hard to believe that someone so unserious is having such serious and complex thoughts. You know, it's crazy how powerful the mind is because it can work against you as well as like it can work against you as just as good as it can work for you. It's very weird to grasp. And one example I have of that is I used to watch a lot of KSI, and over the past couple of years, he's kind of like revived his second channel, and it's kind of like him being a YouTuber again. And I used to watch a lot of that. And sometimes when he would start a video, he would just be like, we're going to do like a Reddit react or something, or just try to make me laugh because I've had a really bad day. And I don't know why. It made me think like, how is this guy having a bad day? You know, like he's a YouTuber, he's rich, he's successful. What do you mean you're having a bad day? But everyone has bad days, you know, like it's just a part of being human. You're all going to have bad days. And it was kind of like a shock to me where he's just casually saying I had a bad day. And it's like, what? How could you have a bad day? But it's like this weird cognitive unconscious thing that we do in our heads where we just place people above us. We think they're superior, so they're not capable of human things. Or maybe it's because of like the way they present themselves on social media. So we just believe that's how they truly are always. Can you just come up here? Yeah, nice. What? Oh. Stop going down, bro. I don't want to fight there. You see the way I just countered the timing jump thing? Y'all see that? Y'all see that? No big deal, no big deal. I just countered it, no big deal. Let's go piece this guy up now. Is this guy nicked? Forgot you can't see levels on people that are nicked. Wait, but he's a non though. Can you nick as a non? I don't think you can. Maybe I just don't have it on. I'm not really paying attention, not gonna lie. Holy, I won a game. What is that, dude? Oh my, am I recording? Nah, this footage has to be corrupted somehow. There's no way I actually won a game. Yeah, hey, I knew this guy was a high, like he had a lot of wins, you know what I mean? But hey, you know what I mean? I'm just back. I'm so back. We're so back, guys. We're so back. Anyway, so I'm gonna just talk about the scene because the movie is really old and you haven't seen it, you're probably not gonna see it, but whatever. So basically in the scene, Tyler Durden, he brings out this cashier, he like brings him to the back and he like puts a gun to the back of his head and he asks him, what do you want to be in life? You know, because no one is raised in America with like, you know, the land of dreams or like what just happened? No one is, you know, oh my god, I can't speak. My brain is actually just dying. Hold up. I haven't done this in a while. We're like, relax. Everyone relax. And owned. How did you fall for that, bro? What? We're in the big 25 and I'm falling for that? Come on, man. Let me try to make a coherent thought here. So, he brings out this guy, puts a gun to the back of his head, and he's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Because, you know, no one wants to grow up wanting to be, no one dreams of wanting to be like a cashier, of a deli cashier, you know? Like, why would you want to be, why would you want that job? And so, the guy is obviously very nervous because, you know, he has a gun to the back of his head. So he's like saying like, I don't know, I'm just chilling, you know? And then Tyler Durden, he finds a college ID in his wallet, like an expired college ID. So he's like, well, what do you want to do? Like, you obviously went to college, so he had some kind of dream. You know, the gun to the back of his head, he's obviously gonna like try to say what he wants to do. Otherwise, he's just gonna get his brains blown out. So he basically, I think he wants to be like a vet or something. I don't want to die this noob, bro. Yeah, just snowball me, dude. Ugh! He wanted to be like a veterinarian. He wanted to be a vet, right? And he told him that it was too much schooling. That's why he wasn't gonna do it, right? But the time will pass anyway. And Tyler knows that. And so he says, he tells him that, you know, I'm gonna take your driver's license so I know where you live. And I'm gonna keep track of you. And if you're not gonna try to become a vet within the next couple weeks, I'm gonna blow your brains out. And then he lets him go. And then he says like that guy is gonna have the best day of his life tomorrow because it's gonna be his first day, the first day in a long time where he's gonna be chasing his dreams and he's gonna try to accomplish what he wants to do. He's gonna try to become a vet, right? And it's kind of like he gave him an ultimatum that made him realize, that made him actually acknowledge that one day we're gonna die, right? I mean, obviously everyone knows that already, but are our actions aligning with what we know? You know, are we just manipulating ourselves? It just doesn't make sense if you think about it on an objective level to autopilot every day or just be like a convenience store cashier when we have dreams of becoming someone bigger and we're not chasing those dreams when our life is so limited. You know, it doesn't make any sense. It's like we're acting like we can live forever, so we're just doing quests for no reason. And Tyler Durden basically showed this guy that he basically acknowledged that we're all going to die one day, right? He gave him, now this guy is going to make conscious decisions that align with what his dream is going to be because, you know, he can die tomorrow, right? And we're so comfortable just AFKing all the time because we're just going to be like, hey, we can just do it tomorrow. And we don't know if there is going to be a tomorrow. And this brings me to Dostoevsky because this guy has a very interesting come up. I don't know if I talked about this in a video, so I'm probably going to cut this out if I did talk about it, but basically Dostoevsky, he used to be like this kind of like a failed writer. And then he was a part of like this revolutionary. He was like reading books that he weren't supposed to be reading and then they got raided. And then basically he was going to be publicly executed for reading banned literature. And he was seconds away from dying. So at that point, it's really similar to what Tyler Durden did to this random guy at the cashier at the deli. Because he's seconds away from dying. So he kind of just accepts death. And he no longer fears death. He acknowledges that, you know, I'm going to die. Like, this is it. There's nothing else left for me to do, right? And then last second, he gets saved. Some coincidence happens. And basically doesn't get shot. And he gets to live, right? And that whole event is so crucial to him and his writing. Because after that event, all of his books afterwards have been successes. They've been like insanely good. You can tell there's like a big difference in his writing right after that event. And that's because, you know, he's using that traumatic experience and he's actually chasing his dreams. Like, it kind of opened a new perspective to him. Oh my God. It kind of opened a new perspective for him on life, and he's applying that into his work, and you can, and it shows. People are seeing this and they're like, whoa, the way this guy words life is like amazing. And it's because most people aren't in that situation. They are not thinking the way that we should be thinking, which is we should be living every day like it's our last day, because it could be our last day. We don't know when our last day is. There's like a question where it's like, would you rather know the day where you die or how you would die? And what just happened? And if you knew how you were going to die, you would just avoid how you're going to die. But at that point, it's like, are you really living? Because all you're doing is just trying to stay alive versus trying to find something to live for, right? If you know when you're going to die, it's going to be kind of set in stone, like, damn, like this is like my life. Like this is like my last life, you know? This is my lifeline, my limitations. And so now I'm going to try to do everything I can to achieve everything before I die. But it's like, it's all the same anyway. Like, whether or not we know when we're going to die, we are going to die one day. So we should make conscious decisions that align with that fact, other than just, instead of just autopiloting all the time. And, oh my God. I'm such a noob, bro. How did I do that? There's this thing on TikTok. What? Okay, there you go. Owned him. And owned. There's this thing that people talk about. They say, because the mind is so powerful, if we just think about who we want to be, then we can literally become, if you just think about a person that we want to be, someone that we look up to, someone we idolize, if we just think like how they would think, then you can become like that person, right? So for example, if you want to be like some bodybuilder, then you can like think about, you know, what does this guy eat? You can watch his videos, and then you have to just think like them, basically. It's really strange, because for me, I kind of did this in high school, where whenever I was studying for my APs, I would just like, I would just think in my head, I would imagine like this really smart girl in my class, and I would just be like, what would this girl do? How would she study for this test? And I would like use that way, and for some reason, it would give me this alternative perspective compared to what I would have originally done, compared to my original approach to studying for a test. And I don't know, I guess you can also apply that to becoming the type of person you want to be. And there's this scene in the Spider-Man movies, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, where Peter Parker is like a teenager, and Uncle Ben is telling him like, these are the times where you turn from a boy into the man you'll be forever. And I think that's such a powerful thing to say, because, you know, we're all going through growth, and based on how we perceive this growth, based on our perspective, is how we are going to be in the future. You know, it's going to determine the type of person we're going to be. It's kind of weird for me, because I know all of these things, but I don't know what type of person I want to be. You know, there isn't anyone in my head that I think about. Dude, these guys are 2v1ing, bro. What a loser. Are they going to warp? No, they're not. This guy 2v1 me too when I was trying to warm up, and then I was like, I'm going to just... They said L when you got 2v1? Bro, you lost a 2v1. What you mean L? It's kind of weird for me, because I don't really know the type of person I want to be. I'm not really sure what I'm passionate about. So it's not really an excuse, because I could always be doing more to find out what I want to do, like what I want to spend my life doing, what life-consuming goal I can chase. But that's like the main reason I'm autopiloting, is because nothing really is exciting me that much. There's nothing in the future. There's nothing I want to be in the future that makes me want to work so hard, or something I can like dedicate my working time to. So that's a lot of the reason why I find myself autopiloting so much. And I wanted to make this video because I know that you can become any person you want to be. Like, the mind is so powerful. As long as we just consciously make decisions that align with the person we want to be, we will become that person. And so I wanted to make this video because I'm curious about the type of person that you guys want to be. So because I don't know what type of person I want to be in the future, I kind of want to use you guys as like a reference. If you guys know anyone that you want to be, if there's like someone you guys look up to that you want to become like in the future, and maybe I can use that as like a reference and trying to find like some kind of guidance towards that. Because I'm lost, because I don't know what type of person I want to be. You know, there's obviously like a lot of cool people. This guy's playing so safe now, bro, because I owned him last time. Dude, that was so awkward. Okay, wait, I can't lose to this. I have to try hard because they 2v1 me that one time and it was very annoying. So we're going to own them. I mean, obviously I am doing university, so I am going to get like a corporate job and all that. But it's something I'm passionate about. It's just something I'm going to do so I'm not broke. You know, it's just something I can make monies How did I not get that double hit? How did I not get that double hit? I'm getting owned by an Negro, bro. Nothing wrong with being Negro, though. Obviously. Dude, I thought she was gonna do the running jump, dude. I thought she was gonna do the running jump, but she's just straight up fighting me, bro. What? Oh my god. Okay, I should have known that because she hasn't done it once. But I actually just lost to a noob, dude. Oh my, I'm just a bigger noob. I'm just a bigger noob. Anyway, the point of this video was to be like, it's kind of like a selfish video because I kind of want to know what your guys' perspective is on stuff. I'm not really talking about things that are new. I'm just kind of lost because I don't really have anything to chase. I'm not really passionate about anything I'm doing right now. And I'm also unsure about the type of person I want to be. I don't know what type of person, like no specific person comes into my head when I think about what type of person I want to be when I'm older, you know? When I was like a kid, I always wanted to be like a YouTuber, streamer type of person. And I don't know. Like that, I was always just kind of banking on that, but now things are so different. I don't know if that's still feasible because I'm grown now, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what is something that I would want to spend my entire life doing. So I'm kind of curious to see what you guys are passionate about, and maybe I can get some inspiration off of that. And you know, that'd be very helpful. Anyway, so that's going to be today's video. I was talking about how we have to learn to take ourselves we have to not think about ourselves too critically. We have to not take ourselves too seriously, because I do that so often. If I didn't take myself serious, then I would upload so many more videos, but I'm just a chronic overthinker and it's terrible. I just want to end off this video with this quote. I think it's by Carl Jung. I'm not sure though, but it goes, "Joy at the smallest things comes to you only when you've accepted death. But if you look out greedily for all that you could still live, then nothing is great enough for your pleasure, and the smallest things that continue to surround you are no longer a joy. Therefore I behold death, since it teaches me how to live. Without death, life would be meaningless, since the long-lasting rises again and denies its own meaning. To be and to enjoy your being, you need death, and limitation enables you to fulfill your being." And I think that kind of summarizes a lot what I was talking about with, you know, the difference between knowing and fearing that we're going to die one day. Because, you know, a lot of us, we do know, quote unquote, know that we're going to die one day, but are our everyday decisions aligning with that fact? And for my reality, it's not aligning with that. I fear death more than I acknowledge it. So I'm just trapped. I'm just stuck in the trap of comfort. I like want to know what we can do to get out of this trap. And one of my friends told me that one thing that you can do is appreciate all the small things around you, because everyone has things that they are grateful for, and it could always be worse. Like if you think about it, think about all the great things in your life that could be all taken from you, or they just wouldn't exist in the first place. You would be way worse off, but you're not. So I don't know, apparently that helps. I'm still trying to figure it out. So this video is not really like my other videos. It's kind of like me discussing an idea that I'm also still struggling to comprehend. But, you know, I'm open to some conversations in the comments. Anyway, that's going to be today's video. If you enjoyed, thanks for enjoying, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.